What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I want to break down what's going on with Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to break down what's happening with the economic calendar thus far, what's going on with other factors involved with the markets, and why tomorrow is going to be another very interesting day as we not only have big data coming out, but interesting volatility coming in my opinion. But before I begin to divulge information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. I am firstly not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo, the link down below, and deposit $100 into the account, you are guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed up to 15 free stocks, and this offer ends in just about 5 hours. Anyways, for the market, I just wanted to mention that right now Tesla's on a bit of a downtrend. We actually had this high right here. We came down. We've been making lower highs and lower lows throughout the last couple of days. And although Tesla has been on this trend, the question is what's going to affect it. That's going to be its deliveries numbers. And for the overall market, I think that the market's going to be watching from the sidelines to see what Tesla's numbers look like. And simultaneously, we have some data coming out. So I want to talk about the data, talk about Tesla, break down the charts for SPY and the others. But let's first talk about this data. So what's happening for tomorrow? Tomorrow is going to be Tuesday, April 2nd, 2024. Just notes that most of the data that's coming out is coming out 30 minutes after the market opens at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we have the JOLTS job openings report coming out, very important jobs numbers. It's going to be very important for the Fed's policy, so make sure you pay very close attention to this. We have job quits, not to mention factory orders, and then the JOLTS job openings, which is the most important piece of data coming out for tomorrow, 30 minutes after the market opens. Then after that, it's just going to be a bunch of Fed speakers because Jerome Powell is once again giving a speech on Wednesday, April 3rd. I believe Powell has another speech coming up. So in preparation for this other speech by Powell, we have a bunch of Fed speakers coming out for Tuesday. We have Bowman from the Fed giving a speech at around, this is going to be at 10:10 a.m. At noon, going from noon until like 1:30 p.m. We have a bunch of other ones as well. We have Williams, we have Msft, we have Daly all giving speeches. So this is going to be very interesting to witness. We'll see if this causes any volatility. This is a little snippet of what earnings look like. If you're interested in playing any of these, you can check them out. But I'm not going to really talk too much about this. Earnings season is kind of like very minor for now. It's going to become a lot more serious in just a couple of weeks once we have stocks like Tesla announcing their earnings. But what else is big for tomorrow is going to be this. Do not forget, guys, that tomorrow Tesla is expected to release its Q1 2024 production and deliveries numbers. It's coming out for Tuesday, April 2nd, between 8:30 a.m. and 9 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, usually they do end up announcing their numbers on the second of the month. That is basically after the end of their quarter. So in this case, April 2nd should be the day the numbers come out, but I'm not too sure about the timing. It should be between 8:30 a.m. and 9 o'clock a.m. since they've had some time, but sometimes it is a little bit delayed. So we'll just have to wait and see. But I just want to say that it should come out tomorrow. Maybe during this time, most likely during this time, but it could be a little delayed. So don't worry too much if it's still kind of like delayed, but it should be coming out nonetheless. For SPY, as a reminder for the option chain, I'm not really seeing much data, at least on here, but I just want to call out that for Friday, we have a much lower put to call ratio than other days before, only 1.87. We only have a 517 as the max pain for Friday, so it's a little bit of a shift. Not as many puts are expiring relative to calls as other days. The fear and greed index is currently at greed. It used to be at extreme, came down to greed, now it's kind of stuck in the middle. I also want to add that market momentum is at extreme greed. Other things are still at these extremes. The puts in call positioning starting to drop a bit as we're starting to see calls being bought again. We're seeing some puts being closed. It's kind of decreasing a little bit on that end because of that, but we'll see if there's a big shift or not because of some catalyst. I'll be waiting for that. And for the VIX, it's starting to show some life. We're going to be watching our 50 daily moving average. We're about to test this. The VIX is at 13.65, the 50 days at 13.77. So if we get close to this, if we surpass this, this could be a sign if the VIX wants to break out. For more downside for the markets, we're not ready just yet. So now let's just talk about these charts. What on earth are the charts suggesting? I'm going to start off with Tesla since this is like the biggest one right now. Then I'm going to break down SPY and the others. So for Tesla, there's a bit of a downtrend right here. You guys can quite clearly see this. And we had a break of the structure right over here as well. So it's looking a little bit weaker. However, what it's going to matter more is going to be their deliveries. If we get some strong deliveries, we'll be looking for a move all the way up to at least 185 plus. If Tesla ends up breaking expectations, the expectation is very close to about 430,000. So if they do something a lot better than 450,000, 440,000, look for a nice move to the upside. But that seems a little bit too high for a lot of people out there. If Tesla makes a move to the downside, it depends on how low the deliveries are. If they do like 400,000, that's going to be pretty bad. If it's like around 415,000, 420,000, it won't be as bad, but it still would be below a lot of analysts' expectations. So I do see a risk of this coming all the way down to at least 165 or below that if we get some weak numbers, and we could even drop much lower to below 160. If we lose that, 152 is going to be our next target. So just be careful on Tesla. There could be a lot of volatility coming. I'm expecting a big move most likely for tomorrow. So we'll see what happens to it. But how about for SPY? How is SPY looking in my honest opinion? Honestly, guys, it's not looking that great because what's happening is we're starting to see things shifting a bit, especially as the VIX is building some strength. So let me try to make this chart easier to see. So what's been happening is we had this nice uptrend, right? SPY was just making higher highs and higher lows, continuing to push and push and push. But the problem is today we got this big rejection on SPY. SPY opened up at 524, slowly dropped all the way down to the 521 area, came back up, got a back test of this resistance, and now this is like a classic example of a back test and a rejection if we continue to get the follow-through move down. So to be bearish, you want to see this thing continue to get that follow-through move and lose 521. If we lose that, we're going to be looking at 520, then 518 below that. And then if we're bullish, you want to see this thing basically break back above 523, break above this resistance up here and make our way back up higher. In my opinion, the chart's looking a little bit more bearish because we got this rejection and it's looking like it's showing some weakness. So I could see a possibility of about a retest of this trend line. A rejection could try to pop again tomorrow depending on the data, but I do see a risk of it coming to at least this 519 to 520 zone down here. I do see a risk of that because that's where our 200 EMA happens to be. And the trend is kind of shifting in that direction. So I'm seeing some weakness on this chart. So I favor this trying to push up higher. We'll see if it breaks or not. If it fails, a move back down looks a little bit more probable. For the QQQ, we called out 442, and that is, 443. We called out on the 200 EMA. That's where we went to almost exactly. Now we're making our way back up. I'm seeing that this is very stationary. It's been going back and forth for many, many of these weeks. So I'm going to be looking for another similar move. I think that we could pop a little bit upon open and make our way back down towards 443, the 200 EMA on the hourly time frame. If we break this, we could be coming all the way down towards 440. I could be looking for a move all the way down there if we lose that structure, but it all depends on 442 too. If we lose 440, this is basically our 443 area at the 200 EMA, then 442. Look for a bigger move down. I see a risk of this kind of pushing upon we are open and eventually coming back down. I'm seeing some weakness in this chart. Why do I say that? Another factor is Nvda. Nvda doesn't have as much confirmation of the weakness, but today it was trying to break out, trying to break past 908, and it kind of failed. We failed to get a clean break. We're stuck at this 920 resistance. We ended up coming back down, and now we ended up closing back within our range. So right now, I would say that our resistance is going to be around 908, and our key support's at 892. If we lose 892, a bigger drop is going to be coming all the way down to at least 885, if not 877. And if we're bullish, you want to see it break above 908 to push to 920. In my opinion, it looks a little bit more bearish, so I do see a risk of this kind of dropping. So just be a little bit more careful with Nvda. For a few more out there, Aapl, in my opinion, looks a little bit more bearish. We're on a bit of a downtrend right here. You guys can see it's downtrending, dropping. And we're going to be looking at our resistance at this 170 area. And we have support at 169. If we lose that, a bigger drop is coming. So I do see this potentially coming back down lower. It could pop a little bit and eventually make its way down to at least 169. I see some more downside potential for this. For NEO, we have a nice double bottom leg structure. We also have a bullish wedge forming, so it could try to bounce thanks to some decent delivery numbers. We have to break 4.67 and hold above that. If it does so, watch 4.8 to 5 coming very soon. For Palantir, in my opinion, is showing a little bit of life. We're going to be looking for a test of 23.01. If we break through it, it's going to be pushing to at least 23.5. If we fail, we're going to get a big rejection, so look for that test tomorrow at 23. If it breaks that, look for a push. If we reject, we're going to be coming all the way down to, I would say, below 22.5, all the way down to 22. It's in a very tight range. That's why these levels are very tight, but I do see some potential in that. For Supermicro, I told you all that if this thing broke above 1020, we're going to be looking for a big push up, and we got that push up to 1070. Then we came back down. Now we're holding up nicely, forming a very, very nice wedge. So in essence, it's just getting tighter and tighter and tighter. And there's not really a whole lot going on with it. And I would say that I'm going to be waiting for the next move. Uh, the levels stay the same. If we hold above 1020, we're going to be looking at pretty good. And if we end up losing support at 1000, we're going to be dropping. I do see some potential for this to push a little higher when we look at like the bigger time frames, but I still recommend just kind of trying to be kind of patient with this. This could actually try to push a little higher and outperform Nvidia and the others. Look for a move to about 1060 if we do try to push higher. But like I said before, just be careful with Rivian. This is in the middle. I think it's going to react a lot to Tesla. So if Tesla doesn't do as well, and it's when its numbers come out too, you're going to be looking for a move all the way down towards 10.6. For bullish, you want to see it go up to 11.4. I'm in the middle until we see the numbers for Tesla. For SoFi, we're still completely stationary, a little bit more bearish looking. You guys can see we have a downward channel that's being established on the charts. Going to be looking for a push tomorrow. It's about 7.3 to about 7.37. This range right here, I'm going to move back down. So it's kind of boring, very stuck in a tight range. AMD is showing life. We have a good sign on AMD, a nice inverse head and shoulders like structure. If we could break 183.5, we're going to be looking for a push to this imbalance towards 190. So I could see some potential in AMD to bounce, but I need to see a follow through move and a break of its resistance. So I'm seeing some potential in the chart. For ARM, ARM is showing some life as well. If this thing tries to break 128, look for a push for 130 plus. I am seeing a potential for a bounce, so it looks pretty good to me. For Coinbase, we're looking a little bit more bearish. I also want to call out the fact that we have this head and shoulders like structure, so it's looking a bit more bearish to me. If we continue sinking, lose 250, look for a move all the way down to at least 240 is our next target. This chart looks bearish to me. For Amazon, we tried. We got a little pop and drop like move. We're still in this channel. So watch and see if we could hold 179.8. If we lose that, a bigger drop is coming. If we hold it, we could try to rebound. So I do see a test of 179.8 coming. We'll see if it bounces or not. For Meta, we're showing some life now. Now, we've been shuffling in this area, but if we keep getting a follow-through move, watch 194. If that breaks 500 is coming. If you reject off 194, it's going to come back down, but I do see a little push coming on Meta to 194. For Microsoft, we're showing a little bit of life, but I want to see a more strength building. This could be, resembling like an inverse head and shoulders. This is our left shoulder, this is the head, and this is the right shoulder coming. So maybe it drops a bit, then starts pushing up higher, or just pushes from here. So we're going to be looking for a move towards 420. If 425 breaks, I'm going to be looking for this high right here, 426.3, then 428. So I see maybe a little drop in a bounce and an attempt to go higher. If we lose 422, however, I will turn back to bearish, but for now it's building some momentum, and I do see potential for this to go a little bit higher. For Google, we're looking pretty good. Bullish news came out. Going to be looking for a push. It also depends on if we could hold this area. So we have 155 as a key support. This whole move was like a nice accumulation, so it's showing strength thanks to that. So it's looking pretty decent on that end. I see potential for this to actually continue to go. Look for it. It could backtest 155 and then keep going, or just go from here. If we close above 155 again, we're going to look pretty good. If we close below that, we're not going to look as good. It could keep going towards 158, so it's showing some life. The VIX, in my opinion, on the 4-hour time frame, even though this thing is kind of looking like this, it is looking like if this thing loses 13.5, it could start dipping again, and this could actually change the views for the market. But if it holds above the 13.5, it could start breaking out, and the exact opposite could happen. So the VIX is starting to show some life that wants to push higher. Do we come down a little bit first and then start bouncing? Do we lose the 50 EMA and come down and then bounce? Or do we end up holding this and then bounce higher? I'll be watching for that very carefully. And then also in the dollar index, we're approaching 105. We're showing strength, which tends to be bearish for the markets, but the dollar's at some key resistance, so we'll see if we get a rejection. If this rejects hard, market could bounce. If it breaks out of this, that's going to be another bearish signal for the markets, so just be very, very careful. Anyways, guys, that is it for the video. Hopefully my analysis was helpful, especially when I go over all these different levels. I really just want the best for everyone, so please take care of yourselves. Just know that the market's in a very, very interesting place, as we're going to be waiting for more data to be coming out, especially things for Tesla. So take care, guys. Do what you have to do, and I'll see you guys very soon on the next video in just not too long from now. And then don't forget about the Moomoo link. The offer is about to end very soon. So I appreciate everyone for listening. I'll see you guys again tomorrow before the market opens. That's going to be like at 5 o'clock in the morning for me, but for other people out there, it's going to be later most likely. So I'll see you guys until then. With that being said, enjoy the rest of the evening. Enjoy your nights. Do what you have to do, and peace out.